Hello everybody and welcome to my YouTube channel. I have a request from somebody to go over this piece, Mariage d'amour, which is a French piece by this composer Paul de Senneville. So before I play for you a little bit on piano and explain the sightseeing thing and how to sight-sing, because sightseeing is actually what's going to help you be able to sight read. And the reason why, and I wrote my paper about this in my undergrad, the neuroscientific connection between the ear and the eye, is when you're reading, if you've done sightseeing before you read, your eye is basically retrieving that information that the ear stored in your brain. This is a really great way to sight read with a little more ease without having to go around in circles at the piano, quote unquote, memorizing. So this is a really good technique to help you acquire the information versus forced memory, where it feels like you're practicing a lot on the piano and you're straining yourself, but you're not getting the results you want. I'm going to show you this video, and these same techniques can be applied to different songs. So over here on this piece of paper, I wrote down some crucial information about the piece. So the key signature of this piece is in G minor. Again, we're in G minor. G natural minor. Here are the notes in G natural minor. G, A, B flat, C, D, E flat, F, G. Now, because you're going to see an F sharp, which indicates a different type of minor called a harmonic minor, I'm going to show you that as well. G harmonic minor. G, A, B flat, C, D, E flat, F sharp, G, and I'm going to keep explaining this to you in the video what the F sharp means, and I think it'll definitely make sense. Now, even though the piece is in G minor, I want to explain to you B flat major. So B flat major is the relative key to G minor. That means they both have a B and an E flat. And the reason why I'm going to show you the key signature and the scale of B flat major is because you're going to see B flat appearing in there because they are relative keys. For example, if you see B flat, D, and F, that's a B flat major triad. We got B flat, C, D, E flat, F, G, A, B flat. And again, if this information feels like it takes you a little bit to comprehend, do not feel bad. I took music theory multiple times in my undergrad in order to be able to understand it, teach it, and get to the level I'm at. So I also didn't just naturally understand this stuff easily. Some people can, that's awesome. But if you feel like it's going to take you a while to comprehend the material I'm teaching to you, absolutely do not feel bad about having to restudy the information as many times as you need. Eventually, with ear training, you are going to comprehend the material. You really will. So give yourself some time and grace here. So why is there an F sharp in G minor? So let me show you here. We have an F sharp there. We have an F sharp there. There's another F sharp. So there's F sharps all over this piece. Now here's the cool thing. In G major, the key signature is one sharp, which is an F sharp. So a harmonic minor basically mixes this minor mode, the B and the E flat, with a major mode. And I'm going to explain to you in this paragraph why. Why is there an F sharp in G minor? In G minor, G is tonic, which means home. In G minor, F is the leading tone because it is scale degree number 7. In G minor, D, F sharp, A is the 5 chord, and the 5 chord in any key signature means dominant. The 5 chord is almost always a major chord. Sometimes you can have a minor 5 chord. Those sound pretty cool. But for the most part, it's going to be major, and the reason why is because it's dominant. This is why you will see F sharp, particularly when you see D, F sharp, A, that's D major. D major, that D major triad is the fifth chord in G minor. D, F, A is a minor chord. D, F sharp, A is a major chord. Scale degree 7, which is F, is trying to pull closer to G, which is tonic. This is why it is raised to F sharp, because what's happening is that leading tone, which is basically trying to lead back to home, which is G, is trying to go from here to here and skip the middleman in between and go back home to G. So hopefully what I just now said makes sense. If it does or if it doesn't, feel free to drop a comment in the comment section down below. I absolutely love hearing back from people because I really want to do more of these videos, and I really want to help people be more confident with the skills that you probably already have, or if you're a brand new beginner, whatever level you're on, I want to help you. Now we're going to talk about rhythms. So we see some really cool rhythms here. Now I want to show you an easier way to count this. At first it might not seem easy, but once you get the hang of it, it does. So there is a system, and it's called Takadimi. Go on Google and look up the origins of Takadimi. It's really, really fascinating. It goes very far in depth. Of course, I absolutely did not, in fact, make up Takadimi. That'd be cool. That's cool. But some people made up the Takadimi system. It is a system that is used to count rhythm. So the beat is voiced with ta. Let's go back over here for a quick minute. We have common time, otherwise known as 4/4 timing. Sorry. Next we have the 5/4 timing. So we have mixed meter. The top number is the beats per measure, and the bottom number indicates which type of rhythm we're counting. Now, since this is a simple time signature, the bottom number gets the beat note, but in a compound time signature, for example, 9/8 or 6/8, that's a little bit different because you're compounding the bottom number together to add up to the rhythm. So here we have that. Then we're going to go to 4/4, which is the same thing as common time. So I'm going to show you how to count these rhythms. Okay, I want to show you how to count them. Now, when you're learning a piece, it's a little bit more of a fast-paced piece. Don't worry about trying to get the tempo really fast. Practice it with the tempo really, really, really slow and even. Really slow and even, because if you can get the tempo really slow and even, that's going to make a huge deal, and it's going to make it easier for you later on to be able to play it at the correct tempo. Now up here real quick, I wrote for you the letter chart and the solfege that go with it. So what this is with these little symbols on above the numbers, those indicate scale degrees. So G is do, A is re, B flat is me, C is fa, D is so, E is lay, F is te. Now that sharp 7 is T, and that's the one that wants to go home. That's where you see your harmonic minor versus your natural minor. Again, if it takes you a little bit to comprehend this material, you absolutely will. Give it time of practice, and believe me, you will get there. So when I do these videos, I like to go very, very far into depth and detail, because these are the little things that the more you see them, your brain networks will get to work, and your brains will start to recognize these patterns and go, oh, I've seen this before. And the more you do that, the more your brain makes the connections between what you're reading, and eventually you're going to be able to sight read pieces that are on your level with a lot more ease and a lot less struggle. So hopefully the information I'm going to give you in this video is going to really help you to build sight reading. Again, most people are not natural at sight reading. That doesn't mean that you won't be. When I first started to learn to sight read, I was not natural at sight reading. But all these skills that I learned in my undergrad, I can now sight read. I can sight read this piece. Now, sight reading doesn't mean that you're playing it perfectly the first time around. What sight reading means is that you can look at the piece that's on your level of reading, and you can, you can roughly give a rough draft play through it. Doesn't mean it's perfect, because even when you sight read, you're still practicing a lot to perfect the score in some sense, or get to a certain skill level. But sight reading basically means that you can look at this and it doesn't feel difficult to comprehend the skill set. It doesn't feel difficult to comprehend what gets flats, or why you see the F sharp. Now, real quick, you might be wondering, well, how do I know if it's in B flat major or G minor? Do you see how it starts in G minor? So G, B flat, D. That's your G minor triad. The piece also ends in G minor, and you have your leading tone. So those are indications as to whether it's its relative major or its relative minor. Let's go over here and let's talk about this ta-kadimi. So the beat is voiced with ta. So in the beats that we're counting here in this piece, we're seeing quarter notes. So 2 eighth notes makes a quarter note. 4 16th notes make a quarter note. Ta, di, that equals a quarter note. Now we have 16th notes. Ta, ka, di, mi. Those 4 equal the quarter note. Now we have something really cool here. So we have 2 16th notes paired with an 8th note. Now imagine an invisible line here, because there are 2 16th notes in the 8th note. Imagine that line, that invisible line. Ta, ga, mi. So that part's missing because it's blended into that. Ta, ga, mi. Now we have the 16th note. This 8th note indicates 2 16th notes, and that dot is the 4 16th note. So that's ta, ka, di, mi, but instead of saying ta, ka, di, mi out loud, you're going to say ta, mi. This part's the one that you hold longer, because this has 3 16th notes in it versus that only having 1 16th note in it. And I'm going to keep explaining it to you as I go along this video. Now let's look at conducting. So learning really basic conducting patterns, and you don't need to necessarily master conducting, just really basic conducting patterns is going to help you to acquire the information a lot easier. It's going to help you understand what notes belong in the beat together. So let's look at this 5-4 pattern. So what you're going to do is the quarter note, that's the first quarter note, second quarter note, third quarter note, fourth, and fifth. Beat 1, beat 2, beat 3, then we do this little circle thing, beat 4, and back to beat 5. Let's look at 4-4 timing. Beat 1, beat 2, beat 3, beat 4. Let me show you it with my hand. So let's do 5-4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then back up to 5. You can also look these videos up on YouTube. There's a lot of people that talk about conducting on YouTube, and that's great. Let's conduct in 4-4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I really, really hope that makes sense. And I'm going to show you why. Check this out. So this right here, all 4 of those notes, that's a half note. And these other 4 notes are another half note. So watch this out. Ta, di, so that would go with beat 1. Ta, di would go with beat 2. Ta, di with beat 3. Ta, di with beat 4. So check it out. Ta, di, ta, di, ta, di, ta, di. I hope that made sense. So that's what those letters are that you see. Ta, di, ta, di, ta, di. That is the ta-kadimi. Now these letters over here are the solfege, and these numbers underneath are the beats. That's the first quarter note, the second quarter note, the third quarter note, and the fourth quarter note. Ooh, now let's look over here at the fun part. So, the first ta up here is silent. So now we have our 16th notes. Let's go ahead and bracket them into quarter notes. There's your first quarter note. There's your second quarter note. The third quarter note. The fourth quarter note. And now we have the fifth quarter note over here. Check it out. So, 1/8 note gets 2 16th notes. So think of 16th notes as being the quarter compared to the dollar meaning the quarter note, and think of the eighth notes as each being 50 cents to the quarter note. So, ta, ka, di, mi, ta, ka, di, mi, ta, ka, di, mi. Now here's the fun part where we take what we've learned to the piano. Okay, let's come over here. So when you're sightseeing, what you want to do, and hopefully this light isn't bothering your eyes. I open my window over here so that it's easier to see what I'm talking about. Hopefully this is easy for you to see. So when you're sightseeing, you might be looking at that thinking, oh, that's kind of low for my voice, or that's kind of high for my voice. So sightseeing will work in your octave register. So if the note feels too low or too high, you want to sing it the same exact notes in your tessitura. Your tessitura is referring to where you naturally sing, what your natural vocal range is, because you don't need to strain at all. So right here we have G is do, so, may, so, may, so, may, so. And this G right here, I'm going to show you for quick context. This G is that G on the piano. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to sing it up here in my range, and I'm going to sing it slow. Ta, di, ta, di. And those definitely aren't really necessarily the correct finger numbers either for this piece. I'm just playing real quick for context, so you would probably want to use some better finger numbers when you play through the piece. So, do, so, may, so, do, so, may, so. And you'll do it with a metronome on. And so you'll do that. Again, you'll sing it in your octave register. Do, so, B flat is May. Back to D, which is so. So, do, so, do, so, May, so. Then the second part right here, where beat 3 begins, is May, so, May, so. And this next measure is going to go back down to do, and you'll do that. That's what these letters are on the score. Let me put this in the light so you can see that a little easier. That's what that is. Now let's go over here. You can also sing it as ta-ka-di-mi when you're going. Ta, di, ta, di, ta, di, ta, di. Let me sing this part up here. Again, this G right here is that G on the piano. But for my voice, I'm just going to go take it down to here. Let me sing. I'm just going to sing this line to you really, really, really slow, okay? I'm just going to sing those notes to you. Do, do, re, re, me, re, do, do, so, me, do. Oops, sorry. Do, me, te. Let me do that for you one more time without my mistakes. do, do, re, re, mi, re, do, do, so, mi. Go back to do. Do, mi, te. Okay, hopefully that's making some sense for you. So that's the same thing that you're going to do. So let's come down here. I want to show you something cool. This, some people look at this and go, what? How do you have two right hands? Definitely not. So what's happening here is your right hand is on that lay, which is the E flat, all the way up here. And it's moving that way because your left hand is going to read this in treble clef instead of bass. So in bass clef, that would be an F. But in treble, that's going to be D. This D right here. Oh, and look. There's our dominant chord. That's why we have that F sharp. So, Ti, Re. Here's what a minor 5 would sound like. It does sound cool, and sometimes you will definitely see minor 5. But most of the time, because it's called dominant, that's what that is. So, I hope that you found this video. Let me put this back up here real quick so you can take a look at it. Pause the video if you need to. And again, pause the video if you need to look at this closely. All right, hopefully this helps. And when you're learning a piece this complex, or even a piece at a beginner's level, it's definitely good to sight sing the hands separately, obviously. That'd be cool if you could do both. But anyway, it's good to play each hand separately. And once you've sang these notes over and over and over again, you're going to notice your brain retrieving the information a lot easier because you're going to hear the solfege in your head. And hearing the solfege in your head is actually what's going to guide you to read. This is actually going to help possibly prevent injury at the piano, because by sight singing these notes and letting it flow more freely in your brain, you're not going to be feeling the need to over practice physically with your hands at the piano to gain the information, because you can gain it a lot easier by sight singing. You can gain it a lot easier by sight singing. And what you want to do with the conducting is you want to conduct with one hand, whichever one you want, and sight sing. Conduct and sing, and do it really slow. Conduct and sing really slow. Anyway, I hope this video is helpful. Please comment down below on what you think about this new style of method videos. And have a good day.